John Deere 7210-7410 with a ZF 2045 axle. So anytime you have a ZF 2045, it's going to have 4 bolts or 4 divots. Your serial number tag is going to be on your left hand side. It will confirm what, there's 2 different models of the axle. As a complete, it doesn't matter, but if you need individual parts, it can. Where we see these go bad is either they don't get greased and the bushing gets bad and then it wears into the housing and you can't repair it, or pinion bearing goes out, runs the same housing. Either way, you cannot buy that housing new. Deere shows it listed for $30,000 if you could get it, but you can't. And typically when we get a core, that's what's wrong with them. So even used is hard to come up with one. Now from a replacement point of view, it costs the same amount to, quote, rebuild this axle as it does any other MFWD 2-piece axle. So what we prefer to do is to upgrade a customer to a 10-boat hub off of a newer tractor. Now that can be anywhere from 20 series, 30 series, 6M, 6R. It's all based off price point and what you do with the tractor. Now, going to the 10-boat hub, the first thing that has to be addressed is your wheel center. The easiest way to handle that for us is to get your tire size and to send you a wheel and center that is already together, we know that works. When we try to send just the center, most of the time something will be off and we'll end up sending, you know, another couple times, whatever, before we get it right. So what we prefer to do is just send you the wheel and center and we just swap yours out. Yes, you have to dismount your tire to put it on there, but these are expensive long-term projects. So if you're gonna put new tires on, you put them on now and you're good to go for a long time. There is no difference between how these mount. They use the same pin on the support. The distance is the same. And although these look, they look and they are a lot heavier, there's not a rise. There's not much increase in rise or size of the front end of the tractor. We measure that from center pin to drive shaft or center of the pinion shaft, and there's maybe a 1/2 inch difference. So not much, which would be a 1/4 inch difference in raise. Now the benefit of going to a newer style axle is that you can get parts for those where you still can't get parts for most of these. In a good used axle, they come just like they come from the factory. In a rebuilt axle, we put the greasable kingpins in top and bottom so that if that's a problem, or well, it is a known problem in case you don't know, where they don't get greased properly. So we solve that problem for you. We will let you know what axle that we send you. We don't tell you up front because there's about 25 part numbers for axles that would work. So us giving you the part number for what we think we have doesn't really help you. So we just send it, we make sure we send the axle tag. If the tag's on it, we leave it. If the tag is not on it, then we make sure that we give you the correct part number so you can order those parts in the future. It takes the same yoke. You use your drive shaft. You can see that the not boat hose, but the lines come into the same section, same location. Steering cylinder is considerably larger. Kingpins are larger. Bearings inside the final drives are larger. Bearing on the pinion shafts larger, larger differential, same ratio. If for some crazy reason there was a different ratio, we can solve that by changing the drop box on your tractor that would match what we have. That's very rare though. So good used axles, they have to have 3 good oil scans, 2 final drives in the center section. Can't have any leaks. In this scenario here, you know, these are boots that should be replaced, but from a used axle, we're just going to ship them the way that they come off. Everything is mechanically good. If you want to put new boots on it when you get it, you can do that. And on a rebuilt one, they're always going to be replaced anyway. This principle applies to the same thing on a 7510, which has a ZF, and on a 7200, 7400 that has a 3-piece John Deere axle. So multiple axles we can replace with the 10 boat, no matter what boat pattern is on yours.